Yesterday, one of our hot comments referred to the sudden horrifying appearance of thousands of dead pigs floating in the Huangpu River, that's a tributary of the Yangtze. To add to the disgust of locals, the Huangpu is the main source of drinking water for millions of Shanghai residents. The number of pig carcasses has been rising steadily over the week on state media reports, with the most recent count being put at over 6,000. Local media said the animals appeared to come from the Jiaxing area, a region known for pig rearing in Zhejiang province, which is upstream of the city. Authorities said while at least one pig showed signs of a porcine illness not dangerous to humans, most appeared to have died from cold. And despite widely expressed fears of contamination, the Shanghai Water Supply Bureau announced that water quality data remained within normal ranges. But it seems that dead pigs floating in the rivers or indeed on roadsides are far from an unusual sight in the surroundings of Jiaxing. In fact, just a week before these pigs made national and international headlines, the Jiaxing Daily published a feature on the piles of dead pigs thrown into rivers near several local villages. It gave the example of one village, Julin, one of the biggest local pig producers there, and said in January alone over 10,000 animals died from illness and then over 8,000 in February. Well, to hear how Chinese net users are reacting to this rather unsavoury episode, let's now join our researcher Esther Dung in the newsroom. Now, Esther, as I mentioned, these thousands of dead pigs have become not only national but international headlines. I guess there's no shortage of comments online. What's being said about this?
Well, as you can just imagine, a lot of public horror expressed at the likely contamination in the Huangpu River due to the fact that the decomposing animals have been floating in this river for days. And almost all the posters I've come across have doubts over the official statements. First, listen to this comment from a poster living in Shanghai. What nonsense these local officials are coming out with. Decomposing bodies will certainly incubate bacteria. How can they say the water quality is in normal regions? The Huangpu River is the only water source for tens of millions of Shanghai people. There should have been no pig farms upstream in the first place. And 社会闲散人员 has this on 163.com. First, they said there was no epidemic in upstream areas. Then later, they said the epidemic was limited to pigs. What sort of logic is that? How can they expect us to believe them? And we also have this more general worries from 好了 on iask.ca. Now, thousands of dead pigs have been found, but a national broadcaster keeps saying that the water quality in Shanghai is good. I really have no words. We've had poisonous milk, problems with cooking oil, toxic smog. Now it's the turn of water. I read an article recently saying that over 80% of the farmland in China has been polluted by heavy metals. Oh my God, what's wrong with this country? And finally, this poster named Lingnan Lao Dao has this rather gross joke. So what the Shanghai residents are drinking now isn't running water, but pork soup.
Not very appetizing. Now, we heard that the Jiaxing Daily carried a report on pigs being thrown away in local villages several days before these floating pigs in Shanghai made headlines. Yet there still wasn't really much reaction from the Shanghai or the Zhejiang governments until these animals actually started almost, if you like, turning up on Shanghai's doorstep. What's being said on that?
Well, lots of posters have been criticizing what they see as local government's slow response in dealing with the issue. In fact, plenty of locals in Shanghai have complained that it's not the first time that they've seen dead pigs in recent years, just that the numbers were fewer before. And this time, at first, the number was put at just 45, then it was over 900, and then over 1,200, and now it's nearly 1,600. And plenty of posters are expecting even more after reading those reports in the Jiaxing Daily you mentioned, which talk of over 10,000 pigs dying from illnesses in one single village. In fact, that newspaper quoted some villagers who said that recently over 300 pigs die from illnesses every day. They put this down to the intensive breeding, which enables illnesses to spread very quickly. Locals also claim that they used to bury the dead pigs after disinfecting them, but there's not much land left for burial now. I have to point out that the Zhejiang Agriculture Department disputes these figures and says that they are inaccurate. although they haven't provided any official data themselves yet. So as far as most net users are concerned, it's all inexplicable. First, let's listen to this angry poster Lian Peng on Weibo.com. These pigs died from diseases, but why did the Zhejiang local authorities claim they died from cold? And throwing dead pigs into rivers has been going on for ages in Zhejiang. So what were the local regulatory departments doing until now? And we also have Shaolin Si de 1986, who has been posting streams of pictures on his microblog showing the pollution of river in Shanghai. He says, floating dead pigs have been a feature of the Huangpu River for several years. And when the tide goes out, if you walk along the river banks, you will find stacks of pig carcasses there too.
Okay, finally, Esther, these comments saying that what's unusual this time is not the dead pigs themselves, but the sheer number of them. Are there any reasons being put forward from net users as to why so many pigs are arriving down there all at once?
Well, on this question, lots of posters seem to believe it's mainly down to tougher regulations on food quality lately. First, we have this anonymous poster from Zhejiang who comments on Sohu.com. I've heard some industry insiders say that in the past, pigs that died, usually from illnesses, would, as long as they were over 50 pounds, be collected by vendors and end up appearing on dining tables. But since last year, stricter food regulations have been enforced and plenty of these vendors have been punished. For that reason, not so many people are willing to collect these dead pigs anymore. The result is that farmers simply to get rid of the bodies by throwing them into rivers. And the general opinion seems to be that both the farmers and local regulatory bodies should bear the blame, although the latter should bear more. I'll finish up with this take from Liu Xingwei. Of course, these farmers have to shoulder some responsibility. But at the same time, I can't help asking, what are the local supervisory departments doing? The farmers are left to deal with the dead pigs, but there's no professional service or company to collect and recycle the dead animals. And the farmers risk no punishment by dropping these pigs outside. So of course, they choose the simplest, cheapest option, just throw them away.
Okay, thanks, Esther. And that was China Take researcher Esther Deng with net users' reaction to those thousands of dead pigs found floating in the Huangpu River, from which millions of Shanghai residents get their drinking water.